Speaking of refresh rate, OnePlus, they don't want to be outdone. They don't want to let Samsung have all the fun just because they're chilling for the time being. And so we have some news here via the CEO of OnePlus, Pete Lau. He did a blog post on Monday, and he confirmed that the next generation of OnePlus, that would be the OnePlus 8, is also going to have a 120 hertz fluid display, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the future now, too. It's like if a competitor comes out and makes a claim and says, we're going to have the thing, or even if the rumors start to come out, we're going to have the thing, you get out ahead of the news and you say, hold up, the refresh cycle is so fast now on these smartphones, I'm going to let you know that if you hold out, I'm going to deliver for you. I am OnePlus in this scenario. You see what I'm saying? So that you don't assume or have to guess if your 120 hertz spec that you're looking for will be supported by the manufacturer you may or may not choose to purchase from. By them putting this news out there in advance of the Samsung event, there could be some would-be Samsung buyers that will chill now and say, you know, I like my OnePlus 7 or whatever it happens to be.
They convert back.
They'll say, I'll wait.
Yeah.
I'll wait because you told me you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to feel compelled to jump ship and pick a different brand or whatever. So that's what he's doing here, getting out in front of it. He doesn't have a product ready to go, but he's saying, look, it will feature 120 hertz and 6-inch display somewhere around there. This, of course, is pretty much as fast as it gets. Gaming phones have had this. You had the ROG Phone 2 was one of the first to experiment. That was 90 hertz, actually. That was 90 hertz. Razer Phone 2 was 120.
That's a good question.
Trying to remember right now. Anything above the typical, well, that's what we have the Google for. That's what you would use the Google for. It was probably, I think it was 120. Yeah, it was 120.
120.
Of course, super gaming centric. So it was understandable at that point. But then regular consumers start to demand it. The Pixel, 90 hertz, things like this. Plenty of them at this point. Now, something interesting in this particular article, apparently OnePlus is including something called an MEMC technology, which is also found in TVs. And it allows 24 and 30 frame per second content to be displayed at 60 or 120. So it's some sort of smooth motion type of aspect in order to take advantage of this improvement, even though the content that you're typically viewing isn't set up for that natively. Because obviously the majority of content you're going to consume is going to be 30 frames right now on your smartphone. So then you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I got this 120 hertz display. What can I do? So apparently via this technology, you can actually take advantage or a little more advantage of your display without taxing the battery too much. So that's interesting. Some other stuff, the display uses the latest generation of organic light emitting materials, OLED, obviously, and a peak brightness of more than 1,000 nits. You're a big nit guy, Will.
Yes, I like nits. Brightness.
And he also says they raised the touch sampling rate to an industry high 240 hertz for a more responsive touch experience. So I don't know how you get the doubling on the touch experience, the responsiveness of the touch experience. It's like, anyhow, it sounds exciting because that for me, not being a huge mobile gamer, the biggest impact for me with the higher refresh rates was centered around just the feeling of snappiness.
Yep.
And the phone just feels faster at a higher refresh, particularly on the OnePlus devices where you can limit the animations.
Right.
It just feels super ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. That's my experience on a OnePlus device.
Yeah. Every time you touched it.
Something like that. So anyway, he says his display will be the best you'll lay your eyes on in 2020. That's what he says, out in advance. Now, granted, what's weird about this is it says OnePlus has cooperated once again with Samsung to tailor this unique AMOLED. And this is where things get weird.
Yeah.
Samsung already doing it in advance. Whose display is actually better? Is Samsung gonna? If you're Samsung, do you really give OnePlus your best display tech you have, or is that going to S series, and then they get something close? I don't know. I'm not Samsung, and I presume OnePlus is a decent customer. Probably buy a few displays. So I want to keep everybody happy. So maybe our initial glimpse at this actual display is going to come at the S series launch, and then you'll see it in a OnePlus device at a later date.